From Hillsboro, the safest town in Jefferson County, is Jeffco Tonight.
Hello and welcome to this week's Jeffco Tonight student program. I'm one of your hosts, Tim Fisher, and tonight we will be covering several special events taking place here at the Jefferson College Hillsboro campus, including things like the backyard barbecues and this summer's upcoming play, Grease. We will also be hearing from the town man himself, St. Louis's most famous blues fan. But first, I have here with me William Roman and Christy Little from Student Senate. For those who don't remember, Will and Christy had recently ran and won the student presidency, well, for Christy's case, the vice presidency of the Student Senate, and will be sworn in by the next semester. And they're here with me right now to talk to me about what they plan on doing once they, well, become president and vice president of the Student Senate. Thanks for being here, guys.
No problem.
So, first question. How does it feel to have finally won the student elections?
You want to take that or you want me to?
Well, it was surprising. It was surprising for me to have an overwhelming amount of support for the vice presidency. It was nice.
Nice.
To get the recognition.
But it must have been. Like, also, how would you, this is also kind of like the same question, but part two, but how would you best describe running for, Will, how would you best describe running for president of the Student Senate?
Just get out there and get involved with the students, talk to them, find out what they're talking about, let them know what you're talking about, and hopefully enough of them are compatible with you and go vote.
Finally, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Kind of deep there too.
Thank you.
No problem. Also, was there any complications that you guys ran into while you guys were running for office?
Not actually. I mean, we ran as a team. We ran on the same ticket, I guess you would call it.
Right.
Because we were pretty much best friends.
Yeah.
So we just showed who we were, and the students responded to that.
I can tell. I can tell because you're sitting here right next to me and you're like the newly elected president of the Student Senate. I mean, with the vice president too. I mean, we can tell the students definitely made their decisions with voting for you guys, so that's pretty cool. Also, here's one of the most important questions we felt like that should have been addressed is like, what are your immediate goals as the student president as well as the student vice president?
Well, for me, it's student involvement.
Right.
I just want to get the students involved in their education because this is the place to be, and I want them to appreciate where they are. So the more involvement we can get from the students, the more successful I'll feel as student president. How about you?
Well, I like the fact of adding more activities. I think that when we have more activities in the school, people are more likely to stay at school and get more involved in their schoolwork. I do know that there is a study, I don't know what study, but that the more involved a student is, the more likely they are to succeed.
See it through.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Also, how do you guys plan to meet these goals? Like, the certain process you guys have to go through, or get some people to talk about it, or like, again, how do you guys plan on meeting these goals?
Well, I know that every year we try and do a student senate awareness. And what we do is we have activities, and students can come by, write down what they would like to see happen or some ideas, and then we try and approve it through the student senate, and then whoever else needs to approve it. But we always try and listen to what the students want, and then we go from there.
It's very interesting. Very nice. That's actually pretty good. Though, considering how you also meet them, are there going to be, like, do you have an idea of what type of obstacles you guys will be facing in order to, like, meet these goals? Like, certain people you have to talk to, or get a certain number of people to, yeah, that sort of stuff?
Well, it comes down to an agreement between the whole group. So sometimes we have to tweak a little just to make sure that the whole group agrees on, what activity we want to do. I mean, obviously, we're not going to be able to get every single activity that every student wants, but we can kind of...
There's always going to be that one person.
Right, exactly. But we, as a group, we always try and agree. Sometimes it doesn't work out so well, but, we do.
It can be like debate club in our meetings.
Oh.
Sometimes, not all the time, though. But, we have 18 students.
That's the thing about democracy. There's always going to be that one person who agrees, and there's always going to be that one person who's obviously going to clash. And
But then it wouldn't be...
just like Congress.
Right, and it wouldn't be really good if everybody agreed on everything.
Right.
And I think when you take into account all the activities that we did over the last year, we seem to work it out.
Nice.
I mean, we walked for Alzheimer's, we did Shocktober, Adopt a Family, we participated in Take Back the Night, we did so many things I couldn't possibly name them all right now.
Right. That's pretty amazing. Excuse me. Now, concerning the goals and how you'll meet them or what obstacles you'll meet, there's another thing that a lot of people will also want to know is like how would these goals, in a way, like some way or another, like in general, how would these goals benefit the people here at Jefferson College? Like, how would they get a lot of, what type of good stuff will they get out of all this? Like, will they get newer, or not newer, higher educational standards? Will they get newer courses to take, more things to do, or what?
Well, as she alluded to with her study, the more involved you are, the more education you will receive. You will be more involved in your education. You will get more out of being a college student, perhaps even fall in love with it like I have, go on to a 4-year school. Who knows where it can take you? There is no limit. There's no cap on how high you can go.
Then with a lot of the volunteer work we do, it can get the students here more involved with the community. We do a lot of volunteer work. In fact, we're going to plan on hooking up with the people with Susan B. Coleman.
Hooking up.
Everything.
Yeah.
To, volunteer with them for the walk, Race for a Cure. And I'm very passionate about that cause.
Nice. That's pretty nice. And I mean, just for a quick personal reference, will this involve both the faculty and the students, or just mostly focusing on the students?
Well, as the Student Senate, we're student oriented.
Okay.
I mean, any faculty that want to join in with anything that we do are more than welcome.
Okay, that's kind of what I wanted to know is are they also open to joining in with them if they are or not?
If they want to join in,
More the merrier.
exactly.
Nice.
More the merrier.
The more people that got, the better things will be.
Yes.
Also, this is an interesting question, concerning now, let's say it's been a while, you've been president and vice president for a while, it's been maybe a year or so, how long would your terms last? How long would they last until the next student becomes the next Senate president? How long do your terms last in general?
Once a year. We get a 1-year term as an officer, and then new people will be running next spring.
Wow, it's a lot.
1 year to make a difference.
I have to admit, I was actually thinking it was about at least 2 years, and that's when I thought, I was like, okay, give him a little room, and then it's 2 years, and that's good.
Well,
1 year, that's actually pretty fast.
You serve on the Senate for 2 years.
Right.
But as an officer, especially high-ranking officers, get 1-year terms, and then next year there'll be new elections.
Oh. That was interesting. That's very interesting. I didn't know that. Thanks for the insight. Also, another question would be, concerning how you mentioned how you guys want to get, concerning how you guys said you want to get the many college students or even faculty involved with this sort of community service things, how you want it to be more open and more, the term I'm looking for is fluent, I guess.
Involvement?
Involvement. That could work too. But yeah, considering how you guys want to get these goals to get students more active and how you want them to get more involved with the community, as even the college itself, like, the question is, how do you plan on getting even the new students and even some of the old students that are still coming back, how do you plan on getting them to be involved with this community? Like, in what ways do you plan on getting them to be a part of it?
Outgoing personalities.
Well, I've got
Of
that
course.
one in spades.
Of course.
But not just that. You lead by example. You show them what you do, and you show them what it does for you by doing it. And hopefully that's enough to make them see that being a part of it would also benefit them.
Oh. So basically, be the nicest person you can, and they'll come back and scratch your back.
Well, it's not.
Scratch my back, I give you yours. What was that?
I don't really. We're not going to get all friendly like that, Tim. But
Of course not. No.
no, I honestly think that
A little too close there.
at our last Senate conference we went to, there was a speaker, and he said, when you get up in front of an audience, don't tell them what you want them to do for you. Tell them what they will get out of doing what you want them to do. So by leading by example and by showing people what we get out of being who we are and being out there in the community and with the students, that should show the other students what they can get out of it too. All they have to do is get involved.
And we always have fun doing it too, which is definitely a good point.
Bonus.
Bonus right there.
A good bonus, yeah.
Good free food, games, go.
Yep.
Nice. I noticed that I was at the Take Back the Night event. It was like free hot dogs everywhere.
Oh yeah. And a photo booth. Who could go wrong with a photo
Oh,
booth where you
no
can
one.
dress up and act silly and get pictures taken?
Sad thing is, I didn't get either of those things.
Oh.
I missed the hot dog and the photo.
Oh. I actually missed the hot dog too, so you're not alone. Well, that's about all the questions we got for you two. We want to thank you also for being on the show too.
Thank you for having us.
No problem. Thank you for coming. So yeah, that's all the time we have for these two. We'll be right back after these messages, so don't go away.
Welcome back, Jeffco. Tonight, I am Sam Hanna, here with Joel Vanderheiden, and who is the chair of the Cultural Diversity Committee, giving us information about the upcoming event, the barbecue event that's featuring the Funky Butt Brass Band. Hello, Joel. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Sam. How are you?
I'm doing pretty awesome. Tell us, what can we expect at this event?
Well, this was kind of inspired by the 50th anniversary celebration that we had last year, which involved lots of outdoor activities and live music and things, and it was kind of a nice way to bring the campus and community together before the weather gets too hot. So we decided to do that again. It's a little bit different, but we're going to have a barbecue cookout, so there's going to be food and drinks available. And the concert itself is free, and it's one of the top bands in St. Louis, whose drummer happens to be our concert band director here at the college.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so there's a unique tie there.
Yeah. Well, since you already explained some of that, when and where will it take place?
Well, the concert's going to be this Sunday, May 4th, Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. And it's going to start at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it'll go until 3 o'clock. So, and like I said, there'll be food and drink available for purchase. If any of our viewers are PACE season pass holders, they can get their meal for free. So that's a nice benefit of holding a season pass for all of our performing arts and cultural enrichment events throughout the year. So,
What kind of cost would we have to pay for the food?
If you're not a season pass holder, you can get your choice of a brat or burger plus 2 sides and a drink for only $5. So
Ain't bad.
it's a good deal.
That is. Would there be, or how long have you known about this band?
Well, when I first moved here, which was probably about 4 years ago, I met Ron Sykes, who, like I said, is our current concert band director here. He's an alum of Jefferson College as well, and he's the drummer for the band. And so he invited me shortly after I'd moved here to come and sit in with their band at one of their gigs up in St. Louis. And I got to know most of the guys in the band pretty well. So they have their sax player is a really fine saxophonist. His name is Ben Reese. Adam Hookey is their trumpet player. They have a sousaphone player named Matt Brinkman. Aaron Chandler plays trombone. Tim Halpin is their guitar player, and then Ron plays the drums. So it's a 6-piece band, and they do a lot of really fun, kind of funky New Orleans second line kind of music. It's really great party music, great outdoor music. So I'm really excited. I think people are going to have a really good time.
So is it like jazzy or bluesy? Or?
Yeah, it's got all elements of jazz, blues, funk, and it's just got kind of that New Orleans mixed with St. Louis kind of flair to it. So that French influence a little bit too there. So
yeah,
it's
that's
cool.
interesting.
Yeah.
And are they a local band? Or?
Yeah, they are. Ron lives down here in this area, but a lot of the other guys are kind of scattered around the St. Louis area, and they play all over the Midwest, but quite often. In fact, probably at least once a weekend, if not more, around town. So they're one of the more popular bands in St. Louis.
Any background information you can give us, or do you already, or any credentials?
The credentials of the band members? Oh boy! Well, each one of them has all kinds of credentials. But I think you can check out. I think their website is funkybuttbrassband.com, and if you're interested in learning more about the band, they've got all kinds of information up there. And a lot of their shows you'll pay a cover charge for, but like I said, this one is free, so it's kind of a nice opportunity. I'm hoping that the weather holds out. If for some reason we were to get rain or bad weather, we would move it inside to the student center. Right now, the concert is planned for the lawn outside in front of the student center. So, but if we get some rain, we'll move it right inside, and we'll still have a party. So,
all right,
it'll be a good time, and it's a something that's appropriate and for all ages. So we're welcoming families, and I know I'm bringing my family down, my kids, and I know several of the band members are bringing their families out. So, it should be a lot of fun.
Well, since you said that you're going to be there, are you going to be a surprise backup participant, or are you going to leave that out?
I hadn't planned on that, but yeah, you never know, I guess. But I'm hoping to just enjoy. I mean, I play the saxophone too, but Ben, who plays saxophone for that band, is just a marvelous player. So one of my favorites in St. Louis. So.
Well, is this your favorite type of music, or?
What
type?
I like all different types of music, but in terms of what you would want to be hearing at an outdoor barbecue, this is probably at the top of my list. This type of music, it puts you in a good mood. You can't help but tap your foot and move around. And I think a lot of people in this area, I think, know who this band is and are familiar with their music. But I think people that aren't familiar, they're going to be in for a real pleasant surprise. So, and the band has kind of a unique name, and it comes from this place called the Funky Butt Dance Hall, which was a venue down in the New Orleans area. And so that's where they because their music draws on that tradition so heavily, I think they borrowed that, and it's kind of a unique name.
Yeah, yeah, it is pretty unique. Well, I think that's all the questions what we have today, and so thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Hope to see you there, and
yeah.
And I guess that's about it.
All right.
So I'm Sam Hanna, and feeling funky on Jeffco tonight. Good night.
and welcome back to Jeffco Tonight. I'm Shane Melton, and I'm here with Bradley Belivin from Jeffco's production of Grease. And Brad, for those people who haven't seen the movie Grease or the theatrical version of Grease, can you just give them a little background of the play?
The play was originated in New York on, I think it was Broadway. I'm not sure if it was off Broadway or on Broadway, but it was in 1972, and it was a hit. And then in the 70s, they had signed John Travolta on 2 Paramount Pictures movie deals. So he starred in Grease, and Grease is just kind of a classic tale, if you will. Just keeps coming back every generation. It's about 2 kids who meet in the summer, a boy and a girl, Danny and Sandy, and they fall in love, and then they come back to school, but Danny thinks that Sandy's going to a different school, and they meet each other again, and so they kind of go back and forth with, playing around with each other, I guess. The girls kind of try to make Sandy one of their own, and Danny's kind of trying to be a big shot and impress his friends, so.
And what role do you play in the play? I
play the role of Duty, who is a young, naive greaser. He plays guitar. He's very, he has a hero-worshipping attitude towards the other greasers. He's very open. He's kind of not the brightest crayon in the box, but he's very, I'd say, well-moraled.
And you mentioned greasers. Is that like just a group of guys? Is that what they call themselves?
The name in the play is the Burger Palace Boys. In the movie, it was changed to the T-Birds, but we go by the Burger Palace Boys in the play.
Okay.
So.
And how long have you personally been doing plays for?
Well, I'd say since kindergarten, because we have to. Back in the day, we'd all have to do a little play every year. But I'd say, I guess, professionally, I started in high school. My first musical was Wizard of Oz. I played the Wizard of Oz / Professor Marvel / Coroner Munchkin. So yeah, since 2009.
All right, and I know in high school you were in the production of Grease for your high school. And how different is it for you in doing a play in college than it was in high school?
In college, I'd say everybody's more, I guess, well prepared. But it's Grease, and Grease is a very universally known play. And we've only had 2 rehearsals, and already we're getting everything spot on, and we're learning very fast, and we're making camaraderies throughout rehearsal. So it's very I wouldn't say it's too different. In high school, everybody was closer together, I guess. But college, everybody has different classes and stuff, so everybody's spread out more. So.
And for you, do you do anything to sort of calm or ease your nerves before a show?
That's a tough question. Usually, you just kind of take deep breaths, and then I kind of like to get a little look at the audience, see how many people are there, and I kind of use the nerves to fuel my performance. So, and the cast, everybody's together, so you have a lot of people to back you up.
Yeah, and actually, how much does the cast support each other throughout the performance of the play?
I'd say a lot. With Grease, we have 5 girl leads and 5 men leads, and so we have a big ensemble together. So we're very, with each other, and we all play friends in the show, so, kind of become friends in real life, so everybody's got your back.
And what do you feel the keys are to put on a good performance for the audience?
Here at Jeffco, I learned that there are 5 things an actor needs to do, and one of those things is tell a story. So I think the main thing is to tell a story. You really want to get your character across, not just some person that who is this guy kind of deal, but very, very I'd say like I said, the story, but your character acting needs to seem flawless or not very hard to do. So those things I say were keys.
And what do you feel is the most difficult part of performing in front of an audience?
Anything can happen. Like with a movie, you can mess up and you just keep redoing takes and takes and takes. But, you got for a stage show, you got to get it right there. So it's very. I wouldn't say it's too difficult, but it's that's why we have a lot of rehearsals.
Yeah.
So
and now with that, have you ever had a moment where you've forgotten your lines or had an embarrassing moment on stage?
Not yet, thankfully. But there has actually. When I did Grease in high school, I was Eugene the nerd, and I had suspenders, and one of the greasers accidentally ripped my suspenders off, so I had to run off stage really quick and put my suspenders back on and come back out.
Wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah.
And to you, what is your favorite part of putting on the show?
I'd say the memories that you make and the experience that you get out of it. With high school, you know, everybody kind of gets on Facebook and is like, "Oh my gosh, you guys remember that time when so and so did this?" And it's a very fun time. So.
Yeah, and thank you, Brad. And for everybody, you can email Rebecca Ellison for ticket information, and you can come out June 20th, 21st, and 22nd. That is the first weekend of production, and the 26th and 27th and 28th of June is the second weekend of production. And we'll be right back after this.
And we're back, and if you're a fan of the Blues, you'll recognize our next guest, Mr. Ron Berkeley, always known as the Town Man. Ron, pleasure to meet you here.
Same here.
Sadly, the Blues aren't playing today. They were eliminated Sunday by Chicago, and the postseason didn't go as planned. Even after the great start they had at the beginning of the year, the Miller trade didn't solve the Blues playoff puzzle, and again, they're out early. But we have more goaltending down the minors. You know, Jake Allen is ready to come up and start his career. But what do you think the Blues should do with Miller? Do you think we should re-sign him or let him walk?
First of all, Armstrong's the Blues organization has spent a lot of time building this. Actually, the first time in their history that they've actually built a team from scratch. So I still think all the pieces are good. We just ran into the defending Stanley Cup champions 2 years in a row. I think Miller did okay. I don't know if he actually stole the game for us, which is kind of what we needed. And I think a lot of it depends on what he's going to be asking for. But I think it's time to give Jake Allen and Elliott a chance to get in there and hold their own.
Of course, Elliott was very good this year in the games he played, and Allen, of course, in his brief tour with the Blues last year, did outstanding as well. But at this beginning of the season, the Blues were putting up goals like it was going out of business. Our goaltending was excellent, and everyone was healthy. And of course, at the end of the year, we ran into a bit of injury problems with top seven forwards injured, and of course that had to hurt us down the stretch. But what do you think is key to the success of the Blues at the start of next season, that they can carry into the postseason and really make some noise in the playoffs?
I think that's the $1 million, actually a $1 trillion question now. It's really the mix. You got to have a lot of young legs to get in there and get the puck, and you also have to have the leadership of the veterans, and finding that right mix. It always comes down to one or two people. But this team's been together for a long time. And they're built and put together no different than the Hawks and the Kings. And so I think the pieces are there. It's just executing and getting enough people. We seem to always fall short in getting the next level once the playoff starts, getting to that next level. So that's the big mystery.
Right. And you mentioned, of course, the Blues playing the Kings and the Blackhawks in the playoffs for 2 years. And they went out in a surprisingly similar pattern that they did to the Blackhawks to the Kings last season. And again, like you said, just missing or not being able to put all the pieces together. Do you think the next season the Blues will be ready for a good run in the playoffs?
I don't know if I would change too much. I really think that what they have is, I'm sure you're going to see a couple players. And it's role players and people who, again, have experience of getting everybody on the same page, getting to the next level. And we played the Hawks very, very well, and Hitchcock's good coach, and again, it's about getting everybody on the same page and being focused for the same outcome.
All right, well, let's talk about you here a bit. What gave you the idea to start, going to the Blues game and start throwing your towels around and into the audience whenever the Blues score?
24 years ago, when Bob Plager was coach of the Peoria Rivermen, we went down, took a road trip to go see them. They were playing very well. And we saw a gentleman by the name of Pete Martin, and he was doing something similar to this down in Peoria. They called it the Towel Brigade. And kind of watched him and didn't think too much of it till we got to the third, fourth, and fifth goal when you've seen 10,000 people all doing the same thing. So we've that's where the seed came from. It took it about 3 years for it to catch on, and just to try and get it to a different level and make it a little bit more exciting, we started throwing towels, and then that led to getting sponsors, and then from there being able to throw a towel after each goal.
Exciting stuff, Did you ever wind up being hired by the Blues organization to do this at games?
Nope, this is all still, if you want to say, fan-based. People who know me know that I don't take myself seriously. I've been self-employed for 30 years, but I take what I do seriously because I know in some form or fashion it represents the team. So you have to keep that into consideration. But being self-employed, I get my own sponsors, and the sponsors actually wind up on the towel. That's what the towels look like. But the sponsors wind up on the towel, and each year we either add or delete different sponsors and stuff, but it becomes more of a promotion, and never really dreamed it would turn into this. Next year will be the 25th year of doing it, and I've always told myself as long as I'm having fun doing it, I'm going to keep doing it.
You've mentioned the fans, and the fans are one of the biggest part of the Blues team. I'm sure that they get a lot of chance to meet you during and after the games. What's like the typical response from fans to meet you?
With the iPhones and stuff, it's becoming more and more common to get pictures. A lot of the fans like to get pictures and talk hockey and be fun and be what you're supposed to be a fan.
How does it feel for you to, become such a popular part of the team, even though it's not official? But it's got to feel good to, feel like you may be maybe making a difference in at home games.
It's a total surprise to me. I never dreamed it would turn into this, and I pretty much told myself as long as I'm having fun doing it, I'm going to keep doing it. It's just kind of grown into, and I by no means, I'm a big Blues fan, but I'm by no means am any bigger a Blues fan than everybody that's in there supporting the team. And probably the hardest time to be a great fan is when the team's playing bad, but that's when you need to be the best fan. But it's a lot of fun, just showing up and being recognized for what I do and the consistency. But it's still fun.
And I see you got your very own jersey now.
I do.
Whose jersey did you wear before you became the town man?
I was always number 7. 7 was always my lucky number, and Red Berenson, Gary Unger, Emerson, so a lot of great number 7s.
The last one, of course, Kachuk.
And Kachuk, yes.
I was wondering who the next one's going to be. So Scott Trade Center was actually ranked among the highest of all the hockey arenas for a fan, I think, to go to. How does it feel for you? The Blues just scored, and the crowd's electric, the atmosphere is just ecstatic and everything. How does it feel to go out there and just throw your towel in the audience?
It's go time. It's time to get up and get everybody and kind of try and harness all the excitement, because it is the most exciting part of the game. That especially when it's either an overtime goal or you just went up or a late tying goal. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
You've been to many home games over the years, I'm sure. But when it comes to the postseason and the playoffs, can you feel just like the changed atmosphere from the regular season into the playoffs?
Completely different. Absolutely, completely different. When you get to the playoffs, the everything's heightened. Of course, the game changes because they allow the penalties become different things that they call all season. They tend to let it go, and depending on the score. So that's probably the toughest part of the game, not knowing what they're going to allow you to do and not to do. But the atmosphere is completely different because a shot on goal is just as nerve-wracking when it's against you as when it's for us. Again, in overtime, every time it goes up and down the ice is potentially the last play of the game. So it's very exciting.
Do you get to do it for shootouts? Whenever they score in shootouts?
We don't count each goal during the shootout, but when it's all over with, and depending on how fast the announcers come on and stuff, sometimes we do we'll do the final count. But they generally, when the game's over, they'll honk the horn for the same amount of goals and kind of do the same thing.
As when the off season comes on and it's almost over and it's back to September, are you ready to get back up in the stands and just get back to that energy level that Scottrade gives to its players and its fans?
It's always fun. I mean, the opening night's special. I also have a tuxedo coat that we wear for opening night, beginning of each round of the playoffs. So there's a couple different outfits that or jerseys, I should say. I have a jersey too that lights up in the back and the numbers change. It's all LED readout.
Very cool.
So I'm always open. Yeah, always open to new stuff.
Do you think the fan base that we have here in St. Louis is still growing over these years?
I believe it's growing. We've got your diehards. I would say that the diehard fan base is probably at the 12,000 mark, but I think it's still growing. And getting past this last lockout was a big hump to overcome.
What do you think it is that keeps the fans coming back every year for more?
The fact that they're building the team. Once Checkets come in, and we started for the first time in the 40-year history, started the team from scratch. And St. Louis, I think, is very big on, if you show us that you're attempting to put the best product on the field or the ice, I think fans respect that, and they'll show up. And I think our chemistry we're right there, and one or two people can make the difference. And usually, if you watch really close, by the time you get to the Stanley Cup Finals, usually the one or the two people that show up are either rookies or somebody that learned how to get to the next level and played a big part.
Of course, we got some very loyal fans here in St. Louis, and again, I hope to be seeing a lot more of you next season, as I hope the boys keep putting up those numbers. And it's like they say in the advertisements, long live the note,
Long live the note.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues. And I think you are going to see that the scoring trend continue. Tarasenko's starting to come into his own, and Oshie's actually stepped up to a new level. But yeah, I think we're still within that window. Within the next 2 to 3 years, I think I like our chances.
Well, pleasure to meet you, Ron.
Same here. Same here.
Glad you could make it to the show. You want to take us out?
Let's go, and let's go Blues.